Make the Red Death running critical feintable. Let's make this short and simple. Red Death's running critical currently sucks to use right now. The running critical does little to no damage, is very slow, and cannot be feinted midway, making it an easy parry and attack for opponents. Make it so the running critical of the Red Death is a bit quicker, cancels on parry, and can be feinted midway. This makes it so the running critical is at least a little bit more viable in combat, and it can be used better in combat. Wraithclaw's critical can currently be feintable, so why can't Red Death as well? Alright, so this, first of all, I don't know how Hyperion still has his suggestion rule. I have seen so many of his suggestions get so many X's. I don't know how they haven't taken it from him. But secondly, it's less of a thing that the Red Death is, too weak on the running crit, more of a thing that the Wraithclaw is, too strong on the current crit. I think that also kind of highlights how Deepwoken's philosophy as far as game balancing has changed a lot since verse 1, because the critical should not be feintable on either of those weapons. I'm going to say that right now. I don't care if the Wraithclaw needed it. I don't think it should be feintable. The entire point of crits is to be higher risk, higher reward, so you could do more damage or you could get a guard break, but they're slower so they can be parried. By making it feintable, you just remove the risk from it, and it's just a better M1 with a cooldown on it. It's stupid. With that being said, they're both stupid. Welcome back, and today I'm going over some more of the worst suggestions in Deepwoken. I hope you guys enjoy this video as usual, and if you do, make sure to subscribe since basically nobody's subscribed. Along with that, I will not be live on Twitch today or next Friday because I'm going to be out of the state, but I will be live Monday and Wednesday as usual. Those are my only guaranteed stream times, but I promise that once I'm back after next week, I will bring back the Friday streams again. I take them off sometimes, and I just brought them back, which is why I streamed last or Friday before that, whatever. It's whatever. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it and enjoy. This next one, remove Lone Warrior buff in combat. Whether it's for PvP or PvE, Origins IMO shouldn't straight up give you a buff. They should all be in the same tier and just be a different way to progress while not affecting combat. Also, where are the buffs? Why is the update log vague for no reason? Okay, so this one has 141 X's to 6 stars, but he might not, I don't think he's wrong with this. I don't think it should necessarily be this way because I think it kind of makes things more rigid as far as progression goes, because now it's what are the buffs, right? Because they say now drastically boost your progression speed when progressing alone, also gives buffs in your fights if you're a solo player. It doesn't tell you what these buffs are, and that could range from something like maybe a little speed boost or maybe a little bit more posture to just straight up being a damage buff, and they don't make it clear. Someone should run experiments on this because I actually kind of agree with this one. I know it has a lot of X's, and normally I don't agree with the bad ones because they're bad, but I think this one isn't that bad because, if you're just giving people a damage buff for picking the Trial of One origin, and they're just getting, benefits over other players because they chose that origin instead, and if it also applies in PvE and it's just a straight damage buff, that could actually be really broken. Allow us to reroll mantras in Valve Iron with limitations. Not to be rude, but nobody needs a level 1 Lightning Cloak, level 1 Tornado Kick, and level 1 Emotion Wave. Emotion Wave and Lightning Cloak's efficiency scales heavily on their mantra level, so they're almost useless at level 1. Hence why I propose the ability to reroll mantras. Most of these I wouldn't use and they serve no purpose. I think being able to reroll mantras as a way of min-maxing would be neat. Of course, if dissatisfied, we could blacklist some mantras for some mementos, the same way a lot of weapon classes are blacklisted for some mementos. Aside from that, all given mantras are at level 1, so they won't deal trillion damage from a single hit. I just really dislike how some mementos are awfully boring because they have half of their mantras as unusable or useless at level 1. So I'm not gonna lie, Blahamus, why? Why is this what you came up with? My mantras are level 1 and I don't like that. So let's change it. Why didn't you just suggest something to level up the mantras? I think that would be a lot easier. Maybe they could make it so you can't level up all mantras, but certain mantras that are kind of reliant on levels like Emotion Wave and Lightning Cloak could be leveled up at least partially instead of just going all the way up to level 5. But yeah, I think this was just a bad suggestion because it's hey, here's a problem. There's an easy solution. Let me have this whole roundabout solution that's less easy to understand, going to be less easy in practice, and is also just not that good. New attunement plus Gale talent, Winds of Change. Advanced attunement talent, Whispers of Change. Category, Attuned Wind. Requirements, 50 Gale, 50 in an attunement other than Gale, Haunted Gale. Description, your Haunted Gale now procs the highest attunement you have invested. If you have more than one attunement, the effects cycle. Haunted Gale Ghost and Spectre Apparitions will proc the effect of your highest invested attunement. Essentially, a universal freezing white for any attunement. If this talent were to be added, freezing white would be removed. Okay, so someone actually suggested something just like this in one of the older suggestions videos, and this one's old, but there was an older version of it that someone else suggested, and it got the same reaction, just straight X's. This is a terrible idea for so many reasons. I don't think it needs to be, like, gone over why this is just a terrible idea. Because, okay, the Gale is already a strong attunement, right? I think we can all agree on that. Gale is good. But when you take Gale and then give it a permanent hybrid with everything, it just becomes so much stronger. Like, okay, yeah, you have 50 wind, then you go 50 blood, now it starts raining blood, whatever. You go 50 shadow, maybe it starts raining ether again. You go 50 ice, and then you get free chilling effect. And then from there, you can maybe go an ice wind build and then just like proc your entire thing into chilling talents. Or you could go iron, you proc rods, metal rods, you get jailer on a Gale build. That would be insane. No, don't do that. That's actually awful. Don't ever do that. See, it's just a bad idea, okay? Also, the requirements are just a little bit too low, I think, because like the requirement's 50 Gale and 50 in any other attunement. So it works for dual builds. You can maybe run 3 attunements with this, right? But it only procs 1 other attunement, so people would run dual. But the thing is, 50-50 isn't that much, especially if you're getting something as big as like jailer rods added in exchange for 50 points, and then you also get the benefits of having 50 iron sing. This is just a terrible idea. Bloodless should not be available or give temp health in Vow of Iron. I know I'm about to get crucified for this suggestion, but please do listen. In Vow of Iron, health is an important resource more so than in Pathfinder, as it cannot be easily recovered in the heat of the action. There's inherently a cost to all actions performed and failed. With Etris Flasks, you are allowed to correct some of these mistakes, a limited amount of times, and only if you can find room to breathe during a fight, which may or not be available depending on what you fight. Now here's the problem. Bloodless gems just entirely void this previous statement. Health becomes an abundant resource that can be recovered by just playing the game. But some Memento have healing available to them outside of Etris Flask that I hear, but these healings are conditional and require an investment to attain and are much smaller than what Bloodless on every mantra can provide. Assuming you hit the healing cap the moment it's off cooldown each time, you achieve a ludicrous 7.5 health per second. And don't get me started on the Ascended Bloodforged Crown, which removes the healing cap. Bloodless gems skew the combat economy in Vow of Iron. It's statistically better to run Bloodless on everything, especially when depth farming where healing is even more limited. Thus, Bloodless should outright not exist in Vow of Iron or give temp HP in Vow of Iron. Now, I don't think he's necessarily wrong with this one. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but I think a few people are upset about this because they kind of crutch on Bloodless gems in Vow of Iron and kind of, you know, suck at Vow of Iron. But with that being said, I think that obviously this was going to get X, right? Like people don't like when people make stuff harder, especially in PvE. People don't mind like changes in PvP. There's always going to be two sides of it. The people that don't like something and the people that do like something. But nobody really wants harder PvE because Vow of Iron was already hard for so many people, and so many people are probably still crutching on stuff like Bloodless gems or even certain mementos like the Iron Warrior one. Obviously, people are going to X this because it really doesn't benefit anyone. Like nobody's thinking, damn, Bloodless needs to be nerfed so I don't get one shot by these bosses. People are thinking, damn, this guy's an idiot. These bosses can one-shot us most of the time. At least give me some way to heal. This one's so stupid. The Precious. This ring has been inscribed by a passage of the song belonging to the Murmur of Tacit. It was, however, engineered to be flawed. The writing here is amazing. Needless to say, you can't attack while invisible. A relic ring has no pips but has an innate talent called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. On activation, the user will visually put on the ring and go invisible until they use the ability again to take it off. While the ring is active, the user will be afflicted with a lot of insanity, and upon taking the ring off, they will be highlighted to everyone. During usage, the user will also be 33% slower. Now, I think that it's kind of a bad idea because this would just invalidate Tacit entirely. Like, yeah, it's worse Tacit, but the fact that it's a ring is insane, dude. People run rings for 2 HP buffs. You're telling me people wouldn't run rings to turn invisible on activation? Like, come on, bro. And also, the fact that, like, it only gives insanity while the ring is active, people are gonna run so many talents just to stack with this ring specifically, and then you're gonna get to the point where people aren't even dying to insanity after, like, 10 minutes of just hiding. So, no, this is a terrible idea. I think anything in general that invalidates another part of the game is always gonna be a bad idea. So this, for example, it invalidates Tacit, because now you can run slightly worse Tacit, but in exchange, you can run any other Murmur and still have the ability to use Tacit when needed. So yeah, bad. And I guess like some people would be like, oh, but Soulbreakers can do it because they have the thing. But I mean, that's kind of the point of Soulbreaker. So I feel like, yeah, Soulbreaker has the Tacit and all the other Murmurs at the same time as an oath. But that's like the benefit of the oath. You could run a different oath and get more abilities. Like if you ran like Soulbreaker, you get 3 abilities. But then if you ran Dawnwalker, you get like 2 abilities and some passives. Like that's the trade-off for the oath. It's not replacing Tacit because you can run Tacit and other Murmurs. It's taking up your oath slot, not your Murmur slot. This on the other hand, there's no sacrifice, because you're sacrificing a ring. You're sacrificing a ring slot that you're probably going to use for 2 HP or cosmetics or something, and now you just have slightly worse Tacit. Allow us to do Regent boss fight till we beat him. Lore-wise, we never actually beat him, but there are stages of the boss fight that the Iron Swarm have seen. Would it not make sense to keep going back to the memories of fighting Lord Regent to analyze them? Gameplay-wise, it's just annoying having to reprog to have a single try if I want to fight the main boss of the game mode. If anyone has a reason for this to not happen, let me know. No, man. What? This is a dude, it's hardcore. It's Reacounteur's hardcore game mode added to the game because it's hardcore. Like, come on. No, you can't do that. You can't have fun. You can't try, dude. It's supposed to be hardcore. Like, let's get real, dude. Vow of Iron is the permadeath hardcore version of Deepwoken, and you know, you're just bad, dude. You just can't appreciate that hardcore grind set. You just can't get behind that hardcore mindset. You're just not good enough at the game if you think that we should be able to just like respawn there. Like, you're supposed to have to reprog the whole way because it's just supposed to be harder Deepwoken, you pussy. I would like to say this though, the guy who posted this posted a clip under the same suggestion, and it was him dying to Regent and then saying, and 1 hour I'm never getting back. And all I have to say to that is, it takes you an hour to get to the Lord Regent? What? An hour? What are we talking about? It should not take you an hour, dude. Optimize your progression route. It shouldn't be taking you an hour. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed, of course, suggestions video. I know that you guys like the suggestions videos, like, almost as much as the ban appeal videos, if not more. Some of you definitely like them more. But here's a little problem, guys. There's nowhere near enough suggestions to do these on, like, a weekly basis, okay? The suggestions are much rarer than ban appeals. When people are submitting, like, tens of ban appeals per day, you're getting maybe one suggestion every day, or maybe a couple suggestions a day, and then only a few of them are actually bad. Like, the entire point of this series is for me to go over the bad ones. Maybe I'll go over the good ones if you guys want to see that, but it's like, I go through the suggestions, and only like 1 out of 10 will have a majority of X's, okay? And 90% of the time, they're from fucking Hyperion for some reason, dude. I swear he's just rage baiting in there. Anyway, I would like to say thank you to my YouTube members of tier 2 or higher, but before we get into that, I'm not streaming today or next Friday. I'll be live next Monday and Wednesday, but I will not be live for the next 2 Fridays because I'm going to be busy these weekends. I'm going to be out of state. So I'm just going to be, you know, I'm going to be off for Fridays, for this Friday, next Friday, but I promise I'll be streaming Friday. And the Five Nights at Freddy's video will be coming out on the live channel tomorrow. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. I love you all. Shout out to YouTube members of tier 2 or higher: Green, Brick, Philip, Delusional Mo, Fun Guns, Broccoli, Carlia the Witch, Ekio Sugikuni, Burger, High Card. I think I said High Card twice. I didn't write a script for this. I'm just doing it off my head. Vekazu, Vikori, and Goobka, and Drizzy Drake fan. Hope you all had an amazing day, as usual, and goodbye.